Welcome, I'm Lily.
I'm Lukas.
And I'm Raiden, and we're discussing whether illegal immigrants should be able to become U.S. citizens. We are discussing this because it's a pressing issue for America, and it decides the lives of millions.
In other words, citizens from their home country will cross the border into another country without permission.
Together we decided upon this current issue because we were curious if illegal immigrants were creating more problems for the U.S. or benefiting it.
We also seeked out how illegal immigration relates to the Ninth Amendment, which says that certain rights are retained by the people that are not listed in the Constitution. According to procon.org, most unauthorized residents either entered the United States without inspection or were admitted temporarily and stayed past the date they were required to leave.
Although some immigrants enter the U.S. illegally, some also enter the U.S. legally through a visa. However, if you stay past the date that you're supposed to leave the country, you can then be deported.
Wait, I forgot what deported means.
Raiden, deported means that a person is basically kicked out of their country because they entered the country illegally or they stayed over their visa due date.
Before we tell the audience about how illegal immigration relates to the Ninth Amendment, let's first list the pros and cons of illegal immigration.
One thing I noticed in the article, should the government allow illegal immigrants to become U.S. citizens? It talked about how illegal immigrants usually take jobs that U.S. citizens don't want.
You know, I also found in the article immigration.procon.org a fact that was very interesting. Illegal immigrants, in their arrogance, have shown they believe our immigration rules do not apply to them. I found this quote to be very interesting, Lukas, because it was explaining how illegal immigrants are taking illegal action and not following the guidelines of our laws.
I would also agree with you, Lily, because the article did also mention that allowing illegal immigrants to become U.S. citizens would set a bad example for other immigrants, and so those immigrants would come into the U.S. illegally and not go through the proper documentation.
I do see both of your points, but I would like to add that the article, Legalization of Unauthorized Immigrants Would Benefit the U.S. Economy, stated, undocumented immigrants paid $11.2 billion in state and local taxes in 2010 alone. This showed me that undocumented immigrants benefit the U.S. quite greatly. Yet Procon did also mention that illegal immigrants are just hard workers looking for a second chance.
There are many benefits to illegal immigration, but I've also noticed some concerns. Let's now get the opinions of an expert in this field on illegal immigration.
Hi, I'm Lily Michaels, and today I'm sitting with Craig Rice, an attorney at Santa Barbara Immigration Lawyers. Today we're going to be discussing immigration laws and the Ninth Amendment. So, Craig, do you think that allowing undocumented immigrants to become U.S. citizens will benefit the U.S. economy?
I do. I think it will benefit the economy. Immigrants, both legal immigrants and undocumented immigrants, have a profound impact on the U.S. economy. There's a great deal of fear that immigrants will steal jobs from people who live in the United States, but the facts tend to be that they take jobs that U.S. citizens tend not to want. They innovate and create new jobs by founding small businesses. In fact, among small businesses, almost 20% of small businesses were founded by immigrants. Another important thing to consider is that immigrants such as Elon Musk have created SpaceX, they've created Tesla, and they've created, essentially Elon Musk was the founder of PayPal. So Albert Einstein was an immigrant to the United States, and look how important he was in the history of physics and academics. So they have a profound impact on our country and our society, and I think it's extremely important that we consider the economic impact as we look at the rules and laws that we set up in order to bring them people here.
Okay, thank you. What do you think about our current immigration laws today?
Right. Imagine if you had a wall and there was a hole in the wall, and you said, well, we'll just put a little board over the wall.
Yeah.
Right? And then there was another place with a hole in it, and you said, well, we'll just put another board over that. And then we'll put a board over another piece, and pretty soon you'd have this patched work wall that covered the holes and
Yeah.
kept the wind out. But it doesn't look very good. In fact, it's kind of ugly. Well, that's what our immigration law kind of looks like now, because it's been patched together so many times, rather than just putting a new wall up altogether and making it look nice and clean again. And this has nothing to do with the border wall. It's just an example of how you can start with a comprehensive approach to the subject of immigration.
So would you say that changing our immigration laws could benefit us very much?
I think it would benefit us greatly. I mean, I mentioned DACA and that's deferred action for childhood arrivals. Now, let's say you were 6 months old and your brother, sister, parent, or somebody you don't even know carried you across the border. How much of a immigration violation did you commit as a person? You've grown up here, you've gone to school in the United States, and now you're 18 or 20 years old. Maybe you want to go to college. Many of those young people don't even know that they're not here under a valid status, maybe until they're 16 years old and they want to get a driver's license. So someone who grew up here, speaks English, knows our culture and society as well as I do, it's very difficult for me to say we should send them back to a country that they have no knowledge about, that they've never lived in or effectively never lived in. And so that's a big one for me, DACA. You don't want to eat just one food every night, right? The same hamburger every night might get old after a while. So sometimes you want to have a little Japanese food or maybe Mexican food. I like tacos, I like sushi. And so you try different foods, you try different cultures, and you try different things in the world so that you can understand other people's experience. In the Midwest, we ate meat and potatoes. On the coast, we eat more fish, So very interesting, different cultures.
Why do you think that people will come to our country illegally instead of getting documented first?
Well, I think they come for a variety of reasons. Some people come historically because there were opportunities here that they didn't have in their home country. Others come because they were threatened. There was threats of violence, fears of their family being tortured for their religious beliefs, for their political beliefs. And so asylum is one reason that people will come to the United States. And historically, we've been a place that said, please come here because we value different ideas and different beliefs, and your ideas and beliefs are welcome here. So they come for many reasons. Another reason that people come to the United States without permission, for example, is because the legal process can take a very, very long time. For example, if your brother or sister is a U.S. citizen but you are not, they could apply a petition for you to get a visa, to get a green card, to stay here. However, the process, if you are from certain countries, like Mexico, for example, it could be a 20 to 30 year wait just before your number comes up. And that line gets longer and longer as time goes by, so it could be longer if you petition now. Right now we're processing petitions that were done in 1997-98.
Earlier in this film, we mentioned how the Ninth Amendment, stating that certain rights are given to the people that are not listed in the Constitution, relates to illegal immigration.
What we all have in America is the feeling of safety. So the undocumented immigrants that come to America should have that right too.
After some research, we have found that the Fourth Amendment states that we as people reserve the right to privacy in our own homes and shall not be searched or seized without the probable cause or a warrant from a judge.
This can relate to undocumented immigrants because police or other officials cannot accuse them of being illegal immigrants without any evidence. In America today, everyone is protected by the Fourth Amendment, whether you're a legal immigrant or not.
Overall, illegal immigration is when people cross the nation's borders without the proper documentation. Millions have taken this action, and it has affected the economic growth of our nation, population, and jobs.
Our society is made up of undocumented immigrants that play a role in the U.S.
Thank
you for watching our film on the topic of undocumented immigrants.
Hanging